The Invest in Her podcast is brought to you in part by Wells Fargo Bank. Hi, I'm Catherine Gray, founder of She Angel Investors and co-founder of the She Angels Foundation. I'm also the podcast host of Invest in Her and an award-winning producer, author, and TEDx speaker. Our show, Invest in Her, features phenomenal female founders and funders. As you know, women receive less than 2% of venture capital funding. Our series is about accelerating the funding of women by connecting them to funding resources. Let's meet today's guest. Today, my guest is an amazing entrepreneur. She started her company about 9 years ago, and it is a gender-neutral clothing company. That's right. One of the first, and she's a visionary, and she has grown this company to a 7-figure company. Please welcome to the show the founder of Dapper Boi, Vicky Pasche. Hey, Vicky, how are you?
Hi, Catherine. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, when I talk about you starting that and launching it into this incredible business and being a visionary, you must be pinching yourself.
Totally. It's still so wild to me, like every single day, actually, because selfishly, it was just about, me wanting to wear clothes that fit me.
Right. No, I mean, that is how businesses start. I think people say, oh, there's a need for this. I can't find this solution. Let me create it, right? Yep. So you and your beautiful wife, Charisse, started this company. I think I met you right around the time you started it, didn't I?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, because I was at this LGBTQ shopping event, like pop-up, and I met you girls, and I'm like, oh, I love what you're doing. This is so cool.
Yeah.
And,
I think you even bought a shirt from us.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe some jeans. I think.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Were you doing the jeans then?
I think at that point I remember that pop-up actually was Nick Casey's, and we just had, I think, a couple pairs of jeans to show people this is what we were doing. Yeah. I'm pretty sure at that point we weren't quite ready, but we had a very small production of items.
Well, I want to talk about how and why you started this gender-neutral clothing, which now is becoming very popular. But you started this 9 years ago, so you're definitely a visionary. You saw a need, and it was your own need, and then all of a sudden, of course, you realize, oh my gosh, all these people have this need. And it wasn't just women that maybe look like you and I that, kind of don't always want something frilly, but we might want something that might be in the men's department, but they don't make it for women. And, in fact, I was thinking on my way here, how funny is this? I just happened to pop on this jacket, and I bought this at a men's store called Mr. Turk, and had it customized to myself.
Yep.
But I was thinking on the way here, how funny is that I bought a men's jacket and had to have it altered.
Yes.
But your idea is to be able to buy off the rack something that would fit, that, suits a lot of different people, and not just women like you and I, but you also have customers of all types. Some men buy your clothing, right?
Yep,
and
definitely.
I think you probably thought that maybe it was a specific niche and found out that a lot of different people like your clothing, right?
Yes, it's so much bigger than my niche. It definitely started out that way. I'll never forget trying on my very first item of clothing in the men's department, how scary it was in general to just go to the other side.
Right.
And try on jeans and worried I'm going to be judged or dodging fitting rooms, right? I'm not supposed to be here. But to be honest, I felt more uncomfortable in the ladies' rooms because I was getting those double glances what are you doing here? There's a man in here. It was ridiculous. But it was exactly what I wanted it to be. That feeling, it's who I was, and it felt my true self. And I started to gain confidence.
And they started this also in London way before we did in the U.S. There was a department store that had non-gender specific clothing. I forget the name of it. It's quite famous, but
Selfridges, is it Selfridges? I think
something like that. And they realized long before we did in the U.S. that people didn't always want to buy clothing, in the women's department or the men's department. Maybe they were gender neutral and like we said, like the clothing from the other department, but it didn't fit or they couldn't feel comfortable. And the fact you can buy this online is really great.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's the best way to describe it, because I know that there's a lot of terms involved. And I think when people see my face specifically, they automatically think niche. But that's not who we are.
And
We're
your
really
wife is a beautiful feminine woman and wears the clothing.
Yep, totally.
And so it's not in that box.
Yep.
It's just giving alternatives to all kinds of people.
Yes. Yeah. I think the best way to describe it is you walk into a department store. This is our current times we're in now. You walk into a department store, you only have 2 options. And these options are, embedded with these societal rules and norms just based on your gender. And so we're really trying to break the binary and be a truly genderless line. It should be based on body type and style preference, not on gender. And that's what we're trying to push.
I love that. And I think the millennials are really leading the way in that arena of, not wanting things to be in a box and to realize that people are on a spectrum. Men and women have their male and feminine sides.
Totally.
I mean, this is not rocket science,
Right.
It's like,
right.
But I love that you saw that need. Let's talk a little bit about your background of how you got into this. So you just had shared with me, you right out of school, you were doing casino marketing, right?
Yeah.
So how did you transition from that to this? And being and to jump into being an entrepreneur, no easy thing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so I'm from upstate New York, and right out of college, I was too scared. A lot of my friends were going to New York City, and us upstaters, a lot of us are scared of New York City. Yeah. And I had family out in San Diego, moved out here and was looking for anything in marketing. My degree was in mass media communication.
Yeah.
And I found an entry-level position at a casino in San Diego. I worked my way from the ground up, as a Players Club ambassador, making the cards for the guests there, writing promotions and trying to pitch my way up to the top. And I did. And I was in management, and then I ended up going to another casino as an executive there of the marketing department. I had to wear suits every day. And this is a little tidbit here, but Dapper Boi's original logo actually has a bow tie in it. And it was for a reason, because Dapper Boi was going to start with suits, because I had to wear suits every day. And I was wearing men's suits every day.
Yeah, I
never
get that.
fit my body.
Yeah.
But at that time, when we were looking, how do we launch this brand in Kickstarter, there were other companies coming out with the same idea. And then I remembered my tried and true experience in Old Navy, where I tried on those jeans, the men's jeans. And I was like, that's it. Jeans, everyday wear. That's what I wear more than suits. That's what I cared about when I was, coming out and out in the scene and caring about how I looked. So that's how Dapper Boi began. So we started, again, no fashion background here. So and before that, having long hair and hating dressing in the women's department, you wouldn't call me a fashionista. I'd say my friends back home are like, Vicky got into fashion. But I really cared about fashion at this point because I was really coming to my own.
And I want to stop you a second and just say, I love the name, Dapper Boi, and it's spelled B-O-I for those that are just listening and can't see how it's spelled. I love that name because it's exactly that. Like, if you are someone that doesn't want to traditionally dress like a woman and you want something that's more gender neutral, you should be allowed to be dapper.
Totally.
Yeah.
You can be dapper in a pair of sweatpants. If they fit you properly and you are feeling confident, that's what it's about. Confidence. Everything.
Yeah, it's about having it fit right, look right, having options. Yeah.
Yep.
And now you've ventured into various things on your site, right? Like, what could I buy on the Dapper Boi site?
So right along with our jeans, and I'd say what I want to talk about with the jeans here real quick is, the difference in our jeans.
Yeah, I want you to talk about that.
Yeah, there's a lot because we went through our favorite men's and women's jeans. And, for example, this is the biggest one with women's jeans. They don't have pockets.
Yeah.
Like, why don't women have pockets?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They have all these things. So deep pockets like what men's pants had. And at that time, nowadays, there's a lot more stretch in men's jeans also, but there wasn't then. And so like that fabric of the comfort of the women's pants, we added that to the men's. There's just a lot of different features there. So along this, aside the jeans, we were actually developing our button-up shirt. Yeah. And what's key about this button-up shirt that I'm wearing here even are these hidden snaps behind the chest placket, and that prevents chest gap.
Oh, I love
and
that.
So, and that's for both men and women. If you have a broader chest, there's always that gap that you can see in there. I used to wear safety pins for all my button-up shirts.
Yeah.
No longer because we added these snaps. And then really we've morphed into this truly everyday line. We have swimwear, bomber jackets, simple T-shirts. Our T-shirts are game-changing because men's T-shirts, a lot of time they just like suction to your stomach in all the wrong places. Women's T-shirts are a little feminine for myself personally. Like my options are like a scoop neck or a deep
I'm not doing the scoop.
Right, exactly.
I hear you.
Exactly.
No scoop.
Right, yeah. But we really think through all these little details with every little piece of
you do.
products.
You really you think a lot about it. You and your wife put your heart and soul into this business, and it shows.
Thank you.
That's why I'm so happy for your success. And speaking of that, we reconnected after several years after I'd seen you launch that product and was so thrilled about it. And you had bought my e-course.
Yes.
Yeah, which is called 6 Ways to Fund Your Business, Funding Made Simple for Female Founders. And I just realized that there were so many entrepreneurs out there that didn't know where to start. They knew they had an idea, they knew they had a product, but where did they get the funding? And there are various ways to get the funding. And I love what you said to me after you took the course. You're like, I wish I had known this when I started. It really is great for those that are just starting out to realize, oh, here's all my options. Here's how to understand it because it can be complicated. I put it in lay terms. And here's how you access it. And that's why I created that e-course. So I'm so glad that brought us together. And then... I was just so amazed with you as a person and your business and your vision that, this is something I do on a daily basis. I love to connect people. And so I was so happy to locate a female that owns a private equity firm that I said, I think you should look at investing in this company. And she said, you know what? I've been following that company for a lot of years. I am very interested. And then voila, as you and I both know, she ends up investing in you. And that is helping to take it to a whole nother level. And I can't wait to see what your future brings because I think it's really going to be an amazing ride. And I think that anybody that wants to invest in your company should contact you. And then I think anybody listening that hasn't bought your products should be visiting Dapper Boi because it's an amazing vision and amazing business.
Thank you so much. I mean, you've been a game changer in everything. So I appreciate you. And I know plug here, but you didn't tell me that your course was awesome. And I really think at a young age, people need to know about this, that there's all these options. Yeah. I know for myself, maybe it was too much pride I had. I felt like I had to prove myself. I buried myself in my business without really taking the time to connect. These connections are essential for anyone. And the resources, that you've been able to offer me has been, again, a game changer. And this investor is a game changer.
And, what you're saying, this is an important conversation we're having today because so many people try to do everything on their own. I take it did you guys bootstrap the business when you started? Yeah. And, people don't have to bootstrap it. They could have all these different options of how to get funding, which I think is invaluable, right? But definitely by the time you're ready to grow your business, you have to have that cash infusion, whether it's an angel investor or venture capital or whatever is the right fit, right?
Yeah, and understanding that these are the avenues, for the future. I wish, again, I would have been planning a little bit better and not just mean, I've learned every mistake, from every mistake I've made for sure and will continue to. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just stoked.
And then, understanding, about creating that right pitch deck and that right pitch and how to pitch at a pitch fest, which I know you've gotten really good at. You've won some pitch fests.
Yes.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And from also just learning, what is it investors are looking for and how do you get them involved? People think that that's that unsurmountable mountain, I think.
Yep.
But there are investors out there, and they are looking for good people and good companies to get involved in. I think the two things they look for is who is the founder? Do they believe in them? And I think you are super easy to believe in because I think like others, they see in you that passion, and you're smart. You're smart and you're passionate. And the other is, besides the founder, really believing in that product. Like this investor that we brought in, she really believed in what you were doing and had been following you and loves your, your product. And so that's it. It's getting an investor who relates to you. In my TED Talk, Fund Women Save the World, one of the things I talk about is people do tend to invest in people they identify with. Mm-hmm. So they have to identify with that founder. It's why, because it's usually old white men that are providing the checks, they tend to invest in other white men. And it's been a real obstacle. It's why we've made this movie. And it's about the fact that women get less than 2% of venture capital funding. It's crazy.
Crazy.
And the good thing is all these women are starting their own funds now, more than ever in history. And those women that are starting funds are investing in women, LGBTQ, and in people of color. Beautiful. It took the women getting into the venture capital world to start this trend of investing in people that fall into those underserved communities. It's a very exciting time to be in this space.
Definitely. I can't wait to pay it forward someday, too. It's exciting to learn about all of this.
And I love that you're saying that, because every founder that does get the funding and grow their business and have a super successful either exit or acquisition or just a successful business on its own should definitely be thinking about paying it forward and becoming an angel investor in other women. And we do talk about that in the film as well. We need more women to become angel investors and invest in other women. Women don't really know about the venture capital world. They've been left out of it, and so
100%.
That's something that we definitely address in the film, how we're going to overcome that, how we're going to create a grassroots campaign to raise awareness and educate women all over this country, all ages, all ethnicities. How do they get into this world of getting funding and funding other women? It can be very lucrative investment.
Right.
The people that got in on the ground floor of your company, it's going to be an amazing ride for them, for you and for them. It's a win-win.
Yes.
The other thing about bringing in an investor, I think you'll agree, is that it's not just about the money.
Yeah, I was just talking about this.
Yeah.
It has to be the right relationship because it's for the long haul here.
Yeah.
They have to be on board with the vision.
And I know this particular investor has brought a lot to your table, right?
Immediately.
Yeah.
And we were on the same page. Our first phone call, I was like, this is right. It felt right.
Yeah. And they bring connections and open doors and give you insight of maybe things that you haven't seen that make it so invaluable to have an investor. So it's not just about the funding.
Right.
I always love to talk about that.
I think it's the connection too. We just were on the same page. It felt comfortable.
Yes.
I think that's important too, because a lot of times, again, in the beginning, I was just looking for the money. Let's get the money. I just need it because I can just go run with this myself.
Right.
But no, I've learned along this way here of over a year of fundraising and talking to people that relationship matters, and it needs to be comfortable because we're on an exciting journey together.
Yes.
It matters.
Absolutely.
It matters to be comfortable with each other and know that you have somebody that has your back for real.
Right. I love this conversation. I could talk to you all day.
Yeah.
As we're going to wrap up, let's talk about how people can find you, and also any wisdom or advice that you want to share, either obstacles that you overcame or just advice that you would give to someone else that's out there trying to raise money for their baby, just like you're continuing to raise money for yours.
Yep, I would say connect early and often, and don't be afraid to reach out. Because you never know who might know somebody else or that you are talking to, actually.
Right. You don't. And it is all about that connecting, going out to groups, meeting people, and finding what you just said, your people.
Right.
Finding your people. Your people will get it. It won't be a hard sell. You're thinking, oh, it's so hard to raise money. No, it's really not. Because if you ask somebody and they don't believe in you and your product, then they're not the right person.
Right.
Don't even waste your time. We waste so much time trying, as Andrea Quinn would say, we waste so much time trying to convince not our people to be our people.
Yes.
And it's a waste of time. You're never going to convince them. Plus, you don't want somebody investing in you anyway that doesn't believe in you.
Right.
So once you get that person that says, oh yeah, I get it. I love what you're doing. I love you. I want to help you. That's your person. And they're going to invest in you because they believe in you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Another one, life is so short, and do whatever you can do to do what you love to do.
Yeah.
And, having this life, even though it's crazy and there's roller coasters and ups and downs, and sometimes I want to crawl under a table and cry, and sometimes I have.
and you know what? Every entrepreneur has.
Yes.
If they're honest.
Keep going.
And, when I met you, and I know it was a tough time, and you're looking for this cash infusion, but I loved your strong conviction. You are always like, this is happening no matter what. And you have to have that conviction, even in those tough times. And I had once heard that so many people give up right when their business is about to take off. And I was just like, that's something always to identify, is that if you notice that somebody is like, you know what, I just can't go one more day. You're just like, I'm telling you, it's right around the corner.
Yep.
It's right around the corner. And it does take a village, doesn't it?
It totally does.
Yeah.
I think another thing is go with your gut.
Yeah.
Because, there's a lot of talk and people telling you things. And some people might say, hey, when are you going to go to plan B? And I stuck with plan A all the way and went with my gut. And I know that this is the route that I always
there's a lot of those
take.
plan B's out there.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're wasting time, on plan B, not working on plan A.
That's
Especially
right.
if you have that work ethic and the heart and the passion, deep down in your gut that this is going to be a success.
That's
you keep going.
That's it. So Dapper Boi, we can find at dapperboy.com.
Yep, dapperboy.com, BOI.
Yep, BOI. And we can find you on social media?
Yes, Instagram is at Dapper Boi.
Yeah.
Facebook, Dapper Boi Clothing. TikTok now, Dapper Boi Squad.
I've seen your TikToks and I love them.
Thank
Everybody's got to check those out.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, they're super fun.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, great. Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Vicky, thanks for coming up from San Diego to Los Angeles today. We can also be found on social media, as you know, on She Angel Investors, and also Catherine Gray Invest in Her on Instagram. Be sure to check out Dapper Boi, shop Dapper Boi, and make it a great week, everybody. Remember to invest in her, invest in other women, and invest in yourself. Take it easy. Have a great day.